Courtney's going to walk out. She's going to pull a Greg. She's going to be like, Anthony, I just want you to know how much I've enjoyed this, and it's filled a hole in my heart and my life. Why are you just sitting there? I'm out of here. You didn't give me the response that I wanted. You're responsible for my feelings.
Oh my gosh.
Wah. I'm Greg.
At least he said Greg, not Courtney.
Wah.
Shut up.
Are we ready? Are you ready for us? Okay. All right. So, oh, man,
I hope not
goodness.
that first part because I told you I don't want people knowing that.
I gotta get my thing back. I'm just gonna hold it. That sounded weird.
Yeah, why do you gotta be so fancy?
I just seen this random thing here. I never. What is going on here? Oh.
Okay. Scratch that. Scratch all.
You remove the cover.
Okay.
And you did move Mike.
It's fine. Just leave it. It's fine.
All right. Welcome to another episode of The Rose. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Courtney.
And we are here to present the last 2 weeks of The Bachelorette. And what an interesting 2 weeks it was.
Yes.
I was in Florida.
I was in Michigan.
I was in Florida. Orlando. For the last week. And it was amazing. And I watched no TV, which is amazing in and of itself because I love TV. Love TV. But anyways, I'm back. And thanks for asking. I had a great time.
You see, what happened was I was going to ask, and then you didn't finish the show, so then I couldn't talk to you before.
So I finished the show. I watched it, got caught up. What are some of your thoughts on what happened? You obviously called it
I
on
did
a couple
call
fronts, right?
I did. On both Greg and who she was going to pick.
Yeah, but I also called that Greg looked like he was a little emotionally abusive. And he came out full blast.
Yeah, but you liked him.
I did like him until I didn't.
Yeah, okay, so let's back up a little bit. Let's go to the episode before this last one.
Okay, so we're talking about last week's episode.
Yes, so, okay. There's so much that has happened in this last episode that I'm like, okay, now what happened in the episode that we didn't do?
Right. Okay, so backing up, we were left with 3 guys.
Yeah, because Michael had left.
Because Michael left, right. And that was kind of a stunner in of itself when Michael left. I mean, it was, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
I could imagine that, how much that hurt her.
Oh, yeah.
And, one of the thoughts that I didn't even think of is when somebody leaves the show like that, do the other guys feel like they're there by default?
Well, that's what...
Justin made that point,
yeah, then
right?
we're hopping ahead again.
I know, but
that's exactly what Justin said.
So it never dawned on me that when somebody leaves abruptly like that, how that affects the other guys.
Yeah.
I
know, because we're always thinking about, like, Katie and how the person that leaves, how they're feeling, but we never, like, stop to think about the other guys and how it affects them and their relationship with.
And I think we assume that they'd be happy, like, oh, I'm one step
Right.
closer to winning.
Right.
But it's not a win because if she's not into you, she's not into you.
Right.
No matter if you're the only guy or one of 30. Right. So, backing up to that week, what kind of things, stuck out to you?
Yeah, so we had hometowns. Whose hometown was first? Was it
Blake's.
Was it Blake's or was it Justin?
No, it was definitely Blake's.
Oh yes, because Greg saw Blake
Yes,
on his one-on-one.
playing hockey.
Yes.
Yeah, and you could just tell the dude wasn't right the way he was staring.
I know, and I was like, just go home.
He's like an evil villain.
Yeah.
Right? I'm here to ruin love. That's my Greg
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah, so we had Blake's one-on-one first. And I didn't know that they weren't going back to their actual hometown. Like, they brought their families to Mexico.
So they did that last year, too, because of the pandemic.
Okay.
And so they did everything right at the ranch or whatever place they were at.
They were in Mexico.
I know they were here.
Canada,
So they were
something.
here they're in New Mexico, I think, in this show. I don't know where they were at.
It was when they did the hometowns. It was Canada, Mexico, because Blake is from Canada, and so when I was watching his day, I was like, "Oh, they're actually in Canada," because it said Canada.
Yeah, no, they were
and then when it came to the other ones, I was like, "Oh, they're not actually in Canada." Like,
I know. I was a little thrown off too. I was like, because the whole "Welcome to Baltimore" sign, I was like, "Oh, they're in Baltimore." I was like, I don't think Baltimore looks like that.
I know, that's where I was thrown off too, but that's when I realized, oh, they didn't go.
Yep.
So
They totally stayed. And so you had Blake's family first. What did you think about Blake's family?
I'm trying to think back. So who was it? It was his mom.
Yep. Was his dad there?
I don't think so, because I don't remember seeing anybody's dad. Because Justin had his two friends, right?
Yep.
None of his family came, just his friends.
Which was weird.
Yeah, that was weird. Greg had his mom and his sister.
Mom and, sister.
And Blake had his mom.
Because Greg's dad died.
Yeah.
Oh, plus Greg's brother was there too.
Who did Blake have? He had his mom. I thought he had two other people.
I know his mom was there. I thought maybe his dad was.
Was his dad there?
Maybe mom, dad, and then sister. Or brother. Brother, I think.
I don't remember. I guess it doesn't really matter. But, no, I thought theirs was good. I thought Katie meeting his family was good. They asked a lot of good questions, I thought.
They all asked the same one.
Yes.
Which was kind of awkward, right?
Yeah. So I really liked her response of the I love you thing, where she only wanted to tell that to one guy and one guy only. So I thought explaining that to Blake's family was a good thing. So then they knew kind of why she hadn't said it, versus Blake. I believe they were like, it was Blake's brother that was like, dude, you need to tell her.
Yep. And Blake's sister, too, I think, was there saying the same thing. So it must have been Blake's mom, sister, and brother.
Yes, yeah.
Because he opened up a little bit afterwards about how he never even told his dad he loves him.
Yep.
Because of the relationship until
recently, yeah.
So I don't know what exactly happened. Did they go through a divorce?
I don't know.
His mom and dad? I don't know. Now I'm starting rumors. But my bad. All 5 people that watch, I'm starting rumors about Blake. We're going to go viral now.
Oh my goodness.
So I thought it was good. One thing that I did notice about Blake was his accent started really coming out the last 2 episodes. Maybe because he was on camera more, but every time he said about, it was like a boot.
Really?
Yes, it started getting irritating. I'm like, is he punking me right now? Like, is he doing this on purpose? Because like he would throw the word a boot in there. I'm like, that doesn't even fit. Why are you throwing that word in there? And no, he was very Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I could tell with his family, and then maybe that's where it all kind of
started
coming
triggering.
Yeah, it's once you get all those Canadians in one room, and then you really start to notice it. But
get to go to boot. What?
No, I thought that went pretty well. And then at the end of the day, when he was telling Katie goodbye, he was going to tell her,
Yeah,
but
then he punked out.
chickened out
Yep.
and didn't. And I was like, dude, what the heck?
Yep.
But I mean, a little bit jumping ahead when they went on their one-on-one, and the way he like described like why he wanted to tell her, and like I thought he did it in a good way.
I thought he did good. I thought, I like I said, all along, Blake's been very open, genuine, and I just think he's growing on me as a good dude, you know, and he's there for her and comforting her constantly. And one thing that I did notice about that episode is the amount of pegged leg pants. I don't know. See, peg legs was a thing when I was growing up, like in 6th grade. I remember that's where you'd like peg your pants and roll them, right? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Every one of them dudes had pegged pants.
You noticed?
Yes,
the
I was like,
strangest
why
things.
why are your pants so tight and pegged? You know, which I think is a fashion thing now. Everybody wears clothes that are too small. Ain't that right, AJ? So
Not me. I'm like the baggy.
Right,
the
I like baggy
better.
stuff too, but I'm just noticing.
Let's not show these mama curves off.
Check out this 2-liter. I got two 2-liters sitting on top of each other.
It's all ruby red squirt.
It's all ruby red. True story. True story.
No.
This stomach sponsored by Ruby Red Squirt.
If only.
Yeah, I'm telling you. But so, speaking of Ruby Red Squirt, Florida, you need to get some. Okay, I don't understand why Ruby Red Squirt did not make it past like the Mason-Dixie line or whatever. I don't get it. Must be a Yankee thing. We are Yankees, right?
We're gonna have to like talk to whoever runs their state. We need to like
petition
write
that
them some
junk.
letters or something.
Like, I'm not coming back until you have Ruby Red Squirt. I mean, I guess I can bring my own, but whatever. So, which that's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the peg leg pants and the tight pants and the tight clothes, and I was just like, it looks so uncomfortable. You know?
At least they have clothes on.
That's true. Speaking of other shows that
That we shall not speak of.
that shall not be named. So the moving through the things, who was the second date?
The second was
Was it Justin?
I think so.
Had
I
to
think
be
it was
Justin.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was Justin.
Okay, so I thought Justin's date was well, going back to Blake, I thought the darts with the balloons, stuffed balloons.
Yes.
I thought that was a good idea.
Yeah.
So
Good get to know you more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my wife and I, we've been trying to just get conversation starters, and so we got these cards that you can read off, and they ask questions, and you
Is
ask.
it called Get Deeper?
No, I don't think so. Maybe not truth or dare. I can't remember what it is called now.
We got a game it's called Let's Get Deeper, and that's how it is. It's questions that you get to ask your spouse, and it has different levels.
Yeah.
And I think it's like it's basically just like that game, and I think it's a great.
Because you guys change all the time,
Exactly,
and we take our relationships for granted, because you feel kind of stuck or whatever, and it's like, man, I want to. This is my best friend. Let's know me, like what shows I'm into now, like what, all that good stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like what's your favorite color now? That apparently goes from red to blue, or blue to red.
Did you change your favorite color, AJ?
It's never been red. Never.
You're like my 4-year-old. Although he's sticking with blue now. It used to be red, now it's blue. So.
His used to be blue, and now it's red. For some odd reason, we play this one game with Waka, and I'm like, oh, I know my husband. I'm going to win this game.
Oh, my gosh. I remember that video.
I was so mad. I was so mad.
Anyways, I think that's a good idea.
Yes.
That it was a creative way to play that game.
So
basically.
many bunny trails.
So right.
Okay.
So I'm thinking like you. The only thing that would suck is stuffing those balloons.
No, it's not really. It's really not that bad.
I don't know. Anything blowing up more than 2 balloons would suck.
But
for
okay,
me.
so you just throw a tiny piece of paper in there. It's totally fine. And then I have this thing that you just put it on the thing and it blows up the balloon and you tie it and call it good. It's so easy.
Okay, so you guys are going to be playing darts during your honeymoon, right? Is that
Our honeymoon? You mean our anniversary?
Our anniversary. Aftermoon. After no, that sounds bad too. So that's I just can't stop.
You're just on a ball today, aren't you?
I know, right? All right, so then going back to Justin.
Yes.
Justin's parents didn't come.
Yeah, so I actually don't, and this is going to sound so bad, like, he's so forgettable that I just don't remember his one-on-one.
Yeah, because he's totally friend-zoned. They rode the horse and had a tour of Baltimore. And so they had the graffiti wall and the sign, and they took a picture in front of the sign.
I remember the sign. Yeah, I remember that.
And that was it. And then they rode the horse and buggy.
I think Addie's crying.
And they had the horse and buggy.
Okay.
And that was it. I mean, nothing major. Then they met 2 friends.
I don't even remember them meeting the friends. I
don't either. And so what was sad is that you could see her, like, if you watch the show back, I just don't see that she was that into him as much as he was into her.
Right, and I totally agree. And going forward into this next episode, like everything that she did, I was like, you should have did that a long time ago.
Yeah, that was bad. So you got Justin, then you got Greg, and this is where it gets sticky.
Yeah, this is where it gets all heated. And so I thought their one-on-one at first before they met his family was going good.
I thought it was. I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is so good, and Courtney is so wrong about him, and this guy is amazing,
But he's not.
No. Okay, so they went through the one-on-one, the parents, everything was, it was like it was scripted perfect, right?
Because he's an actress. Or an actor.
He's an actress. So he's a drama queen.
Yes.
So they sit down after the family leaves, and they're just talking, and she's sharing about how much she loves just looking at him. He's sharing about how she's filled a hole in his heart, and the one thing that he got from this whole thing was that his parent even said how much they see how he's smiling again and talking about his dad and sharing and all this stuff, right?
And how happy he is.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you could just see the shift.
Yep.
In his body language, in his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
His whole demeanor shifted for no reason.
Exactly.
So what are some of your thoughts on that? Because I have lots of thoughts.
My initial thought was I really would like to punch you in the face right now. Because he was just so rude to her. And I was like, when he was, like, in that moment, like you said, you could just see the shift, like, him change, like, everything. And
I mean, so like he would act like this. So you'd say that, he would go, "Why do you say that? What? Why?
Yeah. So
Why did my demeanor change?" And interrupt her.
Right, and was just being really rude to her. And I didn't think Katie did anything wrong. I thought, maybe she should have explained to him that she wasn't going to tell anybody that she loved them until the very end.
Yep.
Maybe if she would have explained that to him,
No,
things would have been different. Who knows?
No.
But
that was on him.
But he even told her that if she did say that, that still wouldn't be the right, like, what he was wanting her to say. And was there anything that she could say to make him change his mind?
No.
There was nothing. He had his mind set on one thing, and she couldn't change that no matter how hard she tried.
Yeah. So the one thing that I had thought, and even before I watched the next episode, was a couple things. One, I'm wondering if he was trying to get a way out.
That's what I was wondering too.
You know, like it looked like a strategic way out, and he could start a fight or something and do that.
So my initial thought was, did he come here to pursue his acting career and not actually fall in love? And because he was so close in the beginning and he knew that he didn't want to have that engagement, is that why he had to do what he did?
I mean, I see that, you know, just for public exposure, right? I mean, I'm sure his Instagram probably went from 1,000 to 100,000 people at least, right? Mm-hmm. So that's huge. Now, I will say this. There's a couple things that I did not like about the 2 episodes. One was the crowd clapping for Greg.
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
I don't understand. Like, they don't see how emotionally abusive this guy was.
Yeah,
and
that kind of like broke my heart. Like,
Yep.
when that happened, I was like, stop. Like, that needs, I would have been that person in the crowd and been like standing up, like, don't be clapping for him.
Right. And then the next thing that I didn't like was the hostess, not Tasha, but the other girl, Caitlin, seemed to almost, I don't want to say defend, but deflect a lot of what Greg did. She was very impartial in that conversation. Chris Harrison would not have been impartial in that conversation. I don't feel. He would have been very direct, and he wouldn't have tolerated that attitude, and he wouldn't have tolerated him going at it again at her during that interview.
And I was kind of surprised too that Caitlin did do that, because she was the one to be with Katie while she was going through all of this.
Yeah, I don't think they understand the full extent of, and that's one of the issues, is that most people, we can identify physical abuse. Okay, we can identify sexual abuse. Okay, those things are very clear.
Right.
But emotional abuse gets swept underneath the rug so often.
Yep.
And one of the things that I did read about Greg, and I brought this up, I think, the last time we talked, is the way he treated his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
How she was very bubbly when they first got together, and over the course of 1.5 to 2 years, her friends seen her decline and withdraw. And then they also witnessed him snapping at her in a restaurant because of what she was wearing and belittling her, and so that all prompted this, and I got an article, and it just kind of talks about signs that you're trapped in an abusive relationship. And some of these signs, I think if I read them, you can look back and see those just in that conversation. Yeah. My wife doesn't watch the show, and I made her watch this part, and she was like, "Man, red flag, red flag, red flag." Just kept pointing out red flags about this guy and his attitude and actions. And I think more women and more men need to because emotionally abuse isn't just a man thing. It's women emotionally abuse men too, and we don't identify it and know how to call it out.
Right.
You know, one of the telltale signs, without even reading this list, is he directed all of the things at himself, saying, "Hey, I'm the victim."
Right.
He victimized himself, and blamed her throughout the entire thing.
Yep.
He didn't even apologize. She said, "You're not going to apologize for any of this stuff that you did in this last episode." And he goes, "No, I did apologize. No, you said clearly, I'm sorry that you feel that way."
Right.
That's not an apology.
Right.
An apology is, "Hey, I did this, and I apologize that I did this,
Right.
and I apologize that it hurt your feelings."
Right.
Okay? And so those things are important. But so I'll read some of this stuff and see what you think. So a telltale sign would be humiliation. You know, a lot of the times you humiliate in public, and then keep jabbing in private. Another thing would be like verbal insults. They can range from insulting your looks, your intelligence, your worth. It doesn't even have to be something that includes foul language, like "I can't believe you did this." It can be very subtle things that are insulting, Obviously, physical violence would be one of them, but controlling behavior is one that I don't think we understand a lot, because you don't just fall for somebody that is controlling. It kind of plays progressively.
Mm-hmm.
You could see Greg being very controlling throughout this show, in the fact that he would, and it goes right along with another one, which would be manipulation.
Yep.
Okay. Constantly needing this reaffirming and making her reaffirm him in a manipulative way.
Yep.
And
that's what she was doing. And she even said that.
She fell into it immediately, which most people do. Uncontrollable mood swings. I mean, this guy, or unpredictable mood swings. I mean, that was very obvious, let's see here. Placement of blame is another sign. I mean, this guy, he's got him. Manipulation again. Calculated outburst.
Yeah.
Most people. Go ahead.
I didn't like the things that he was saying to her. Like, it definitely leads down to all of that, what you're saying. And the fact that he looked at her and said, and this is what I didn't really like. He said, what I don't remember the exact words, but down the line of, I deserve more.
Yeah, I deserve.
And I was like, do you though? Like, he was definitely being very, I don't even know what you call it, but what got me was she was literally down on her knees begging him to stay, and he was still jabbing at her.
Yep.
Giving her all of this stuff, saying all of this stuff about her, like all these negative
You're playing
things.
the Bachelorette.
Yes, you're
very
playing.
insulting.
Yes, yeah. And she said that he was her front runner. Like, she saw him as,
told her family that, told him that.
Yep. And like, I'm sorry, but what more do you need? She basically told you that you were the one. She just wanted to follow these steps.
I think him leaving was a godsend.
Yep. Oh yeah, for sure.
And I think that he needs to understand what he's doing, because here's a telltale sign. I think that everybody has a wake behind them. And you know that you understand what a wake is?
Mm-hmm.
A wake is like a wave. When a wave comes in, the behind it is that wake,
Yep.
right? And so everybody is kind of like a wave in their own life, okay? And when they come in, that wake that's left behind, if you look at it, you'll see evidence of what kind of wave you are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, are you a physically abusive wave?
Right.
Well, you can't deny it if there's a bunch of physically abused people behind you.
Right.
Okay, are you an emotionally abusive wave? Well, you can't deny it if behind you you start to see all these people floating, and they're all saying, "Hey, I've seen evidence of this. Your manipulation, your controlling behavior, your brash insults,
Yeah.
your narcissistic way of victimizing yourself in everything that you're doing."
Yeah.
Um,
And you could see that early on in the show as well, because you know, Katie did have to reassure him multiple times.
he'd be happy, and then he'd go,
Yeah. Yeah.
"Well, what's wrong? Don't leave. Don't leave. I love you." You know.
Yep.
It's like, come on, dude.
Yep.
Grow up.
Yeah.
You know, I think she had every right to be angry. And I think that Greg needs to be put on notice that
Yep.
people, especially in this day and age where the climate is so hot, abuse it should not be tolerated. And to have him back on the show and
keep stabbing at her.
yeah, and it was tolerated on that show, and that
Yeah.
was sickening to me to watch.
Yeah, I know. And when you like you commented about the audience clapping for him, when I noticed that, my heart just sunk to my toes
Yeah.
for Katie, and for all the people that he has done that to, you know, because us, the ones that are watching, shouldn't be, like you said, tolerating that. We shouldn't be sitting behind him clapping
Yeah.
for him. You know, we need to say something. We need to tell him, hey, look, what you're doing is not right. Like,
And here's the thing,
Step
I'm
up and
all
be a man.
I'm all for a good villain. Okay, but the world doesn't need that kind of villain.
right.
Okay, the world doesn't need that kind of person put on display, unless they're going to make an example of that kind of person and say we're not going to tolerate that.
Right.
You know, and use it as a way to identify this kind of behavior in people's lives.
Yep.
And relationships. So that's what I wanted to say. And just, you know, if you find yourself in an irrational conversation, don't try to rationalize it.
Right.
Just stop it.
Right.
You know, and cut it off, and just don't be afraid to take some time. You know, because in a heightened emotional state, we tend to do irrational things and say irrational things, and fall into some traps of emotionally abusive people.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that Katie recognized that. Like, I mean, of course she didn't in that moment, but when it came to the end where they're sitting down talking, you know, she walked out and she didn't even look at him. She didn't say hi to him, nothing. And, you know, I probably would have done the same thing.
Yeah, because that kind of person should not have occupied any time in your
right.
in
And
space in your
she
brain.
understood that it wasn't her fault.
Yep. No, and I think that's
Unfortunately, he didn't understand that.
good. And the show didn't understand that, I don't think, either.
Right.
You know, so I think, you know, we can maybe transition to, we talked about all the families, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's transition to Katie's family.
Yes.
The mom and Aunt Lisa.
So
is that what it is?
Before the family, we had the overnights.
The overnights, yep. Because Greg left,
Yep.
and she had the first date with Blake.
Yes.
And it went spectacular or whatever, right?
Yeah, and so again, Blake is a good guy. You know, she flat out told him, "Hey, look, I wanted to leave. I wanted to end the show right then and there with everything that happened with Michael and Greg."
Yep. Because it took us, 3 weeks to get through all that, but it probably took, that was in a matter of days probably for them, right?
Yep.
Like days, literally days.
Yeah. Yeah. So she explained all of that to him, and he basically flat out told her that he loved her. No matter what she's going through, like, he wanted to be here and he wanted to continue with her. I mean, he said a whole lot more than that. But
he validated her feelings.
He did, yes.
And built on it.
Yeah, and that's where she kind of let go and was like, yeah, I love you too.
No, I thought that was good.
Yeah, and I thought that was, like, you could tell that Blake was being a man, you know, and understanding her feelings, but also his feelings at the same time, you know?
Yeah. And they were both open with each other. And
Right.
as soon as they opened up completely, they knew what everybody else in America knew.
Right.
And in Canada, too, probably.
Yeah.
That Blake was it and Justin was not.
Right. And so that leads us into the situation with Justin, where, and I thought that was good of her to understand her feelings for Blake and Justin. And even though I think she should have let Justin go way before, I still think she did it in a good way and not continue the date.
Yeah.
Because if she would have continued the date and at dinner said, hey, look, then that's where I would have been questioning Katie. But she didn't. She took him aside
right away
and was like,
and just
look.
broke it off.
Yeah. And she did stick with, hey, the person that I say the person that I say I love you to will be my person.
Yeah.
And she did stick with that.
Yeah.
So good for her.
But you can't help but feel like Justin got thrown in as a default, right?
Right. And I mean, it's not Katie's fault, but it's not Justin's fault either. I mean, in a way it's Katie's fault, but it's not, because if, let's say, Michael didn't leave or Greg didn't leave, would Justin have left before them, you know?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, right?
Right. So it's not really Katie's fault for Michael and Greg leaving. It just happened to be Justin there.
Yeah. Yeah. So the one thing that I did find cool about Justin was his personality. I thought got to come out more.
To me, he's a very forgetful person. And I don't really remember much with him.
Well, when they started showing all the faces and stuff, it's like, oh man, he seems like a funny guy and has personality. You know, and so I thought, I don't know, I thought it opened up his personality more and kind of showed some of that a little bit more than what the show showed.
Yeah.
And I guess there's more than what they showed too.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. I still, like I said in the beginning, I thought he was friend zoned. You know, and that's about as far as you can get.
Yep.
So, but it's going to be interesting to see if he ends up on like Paradise or as a candidate for like the next Bachelor.
Yeah, we'll see. I thought I wish we would have gotten to know him more so we could.
Yeah, so
I
like
think he's a good guy, but I can't.
Out of the last 4 people, okay, you had Michael, Greg, both no's.
Right.
On being the Bachelor, right?
Yeah.
And then you had Blake, who is with her. That'd be a no, hard no, right?
Yeah.
And so that kind of leaves him, again, by default.
And
maybe he could be like so default Justin, you know?
But, I mean, they don't necessarily have to do that with Justin, because we still have Michelle's season to get through. And then
that's true.
And then they don't have to stick with the top 4. They could always go back to, you know, Connor or Andrew. Like, they can go back to the good guys.
Right. And so who's Michelle?
I don't know.
I don't know where she's from.
I don't either.
She's just random. She was on the. They stick within the family.
They do. I'll have to look to see what what one she was on, because I don't, like, I haven't watched it since, I don't even know.
Right.
I haven't watched it for a while, so.
So you're gonna watch it next week though. Bachelor in Paradise.
Yeah, probably. I don't. It just looks so raunchy.
I haven't seen the previews yet, so I don't know.
You didn't?
No.
They played it at the end.
Oh yeah, I didn't get all the way. I stopped so I could.
Wait, so when did you stop? Because there was a really important part in there.
And at the end of this,
Yeah.
what part was really important?
No. Where did you stop?
After Greg.
So you didn't watch when Blake came out?
No. Well, I watched a little bit of it. Like
Okay, we will be right back. Why didn't you watch it?
Because I wanted to rush in here.
No.
Did something happen? Did they break up?
My favorite part. No, they didn't break up. My favorite part in this whole entire season was between her and Blake at the very end. Like, everything doesn't matter. Nothing matters except for that part at the very end. And you're probably going to think it's super cheesy and raunchy and blah, blah, blah. But I thought it was the cutest thing ever. But aside from that, real quick, let's talk about...
Pull it up right now.
Well, we still haven't talked about her family.
Okay, so her family, her mom and very strong, and aunt.
Yes.
Aunt Lisa?
Lindsay,
something like, maybe a Lindsay.
yeah.
And very, very, very strong personalities.
Yes, so her aunt, that scared me for Blake.
Me too.
Was like, because at that point he was the only guy there. Oh, look at it. He's watching it now. He's watching it.
And we're back.
Yay.
Thanks for that advertisement. Brought to you by AJ Productions. When you have no budget and want to produce a great show, AJ Productions.
Okay, so we left off about talking about Katie's family.
Katie's family, yes. Aunt, whatever her name is. So they're
Lindsay.
very strong women, right?
Yeah, which I was like, yeah, because I'm a strong woman. I think I'm a
but
strong
you're not
woman,
like
but
a she-woman man-hater.
I didn't think they were a man-hater.
Okay.
They were just really strong-willed women.
They look like they did not like men at all.
I don't
Borderline
agree with that.
hated them.
I
Yeah.
don't agree with that. I think Katie's, I believe it was her aunt.
Was like, hey, I don't give a beep about you.
Yeah, but she
Or
asked,
what you bring.
Well, she asked the tough questions. She said, "Hey, look, where do you guys want to, like, where do you see yourselves?
Yeah,
or where
those
do you
are
want to
practical
live?"
questions.
Like, she made him question everything.
Yeah, which I thought was good, but I still think that they hate men. Neither
So
one of them are married.
We go to
right?
Well, her mom was.
We don't know that. And no, she was not, because dude, I don't know. I'm curious to see
Okay, but
the
Katie's
relationship
mom,
history in both of those situations.
Katie's mom was a lot more mellow with him and was happy for them.
Well, I mean, how is the aunt related? Is that her mom's sister?
I don't know. They didn't say.
I'm thinking some things, but I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Oh, yes, do.
Okay? Because I could start bunches of rumors.
Yep. I know where you're going. Okay?
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. I really do.
Yeah.
No, the aunt really, she really made him question, and that's where he kind of went back of, I don't know if I could get engaged at the end of this.
Yeah,
where
because like you guys never answered any questions. You're just on this whimsical love ride.
But they did answer some questions, just not the, hey, are we gonna live together as soon as this is over, or like
in 4 months, or
yeah,
never.
like
We're
some
gonna
of
try
those
long
questions.
distance.
some of those questions they didn't answer.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe they did after their overnights. What are those called?
Yeah, but you know what? So he did break through, not with the aunt, but with the mom.
With mom, yes.
Made her cry.
Yep.
She has a heart.
Yep.
I mean, Katie said that her aunt did not have a heart.
Yep.
Very stone-faced, stoic, mean woman.
Yep.
You
Not
know?
necessarily mean, but
Angry.
straightforward. She was straightforward.
Straightforward.
Yep.
Okay. Bold.
Yes.
Right? Would be the term?
Yep.
Okay. I'm just saying, you know, if a man was that bold, he'd be mean. Right? No? Okay. AJ agrees.
Dude.
I'm just saying, okay, I don't know. I didn't dislike her, but I could see why Katie is the way she is, and I was shocked that coming from that environment that she took what she did from Greg.
Yeah.
That
didn't
was
really think about
shocking.
that, but yeah.
Yep.
Because I feel like if her mom and aunt would have met Greg, they would have tore him a new butthole.
Oh my goodness. I was hoping they would just call into the show or something. And after seeing that, how can you not? I mean, but I can see why she acted the way she did towards Greg during the reunion.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure she got a stern talking to. Or at least through a stern talking through this situation. Like, hey, you don't deserve that.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, is one of the values of having some of those strong people in your life.
Yeah.
You know, all joking aside, seriously, I think that's,
Yeah.
you need people like that.
Agreed.
What else?
So then after that, we go to the Blake picking out rings.
Blake picking out rings, yep.
And he was questioning if he
everything.
even wanted to get engaged.
And so it left it kind of up in the air.
But part of me feels like because it's a show, did they do that because he was the only guy left? And like, did he know that he was,
right?
Yeah, like he knew that he was going to propose to her, but they needed some kind of drama.
And he knew Justin left.
Yeah. Well, they tell you, like, he says it before he meets her family.
Yeah.
This is more intimidating because I'm the only guy.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah. So he knew he was the only guy. So I'm sure they needed some kind of drama because they couldn't be like, he couldn't just be, yes, I'm going to get engaged to her right now.
Yeah.
Because then
and he got, got a Neil Lane diamond ring, right?
That's what mine is.
That's what I bought my wife too.
Really?
Mm.
I love it. I love
Christmas.
Neil Lane.
Was it last Christmas I bought her a ring? Yeah.
Yes, it was Christmas.
A wrap. Well, I bought her a wrap for her ring, for her
Yeah.
solitaire.
Yeah. But no, I love Neil Lane. I think it's so pretty. But then he picked that last ring up and then told Tayshia that he just needed a minute and kind of walks away. Because he had never felt that way. And so at that point, I was like, he's going to propose. Because he picked up the ring that he knew that, he thought she would love or whatever.
No, and, even if you don't marry her, at least pick out the ring so you guys can split the profits when you sell it, right?
Oh my gosh. That's not how it works. I'm pretty
That's
sure
not how it works?
I'm pretty sure if they don't follow through with the marriage, they have to give the ring back.
Well, then get him a ring too. They do not have to give the ring back.
They do.
They do not.
They do. They really do.
No, that ring is sold.
Nope, they really
I
have
would
to give
sell
it back.
that mug. Fine, I would marry you for and get it annulled and then sell the ring and ball out. Like, we're going to Paris to do whatever.
No.
I don't know. And I'd figure out a way to get Bachelor Nation to pay for the wedding.
Well, sometimes they do.
Yeah, to put it on TV.
Yeah.
Right? Make some money off of that mug. Balling out, telling you, and then sell the ring. Sell that ring, whatever you do. Sell it and buy a fake one that won't devalue. Or whatever.
So they got engaged.
Right. I mean, that ring had to cost what, at least
Oh yeah,
$100,000?
penny. Yeah.
You think it's a $100,000 ring?
It was. Did you see that diamond?
I mean, how big was the diamond? Was it 3
big.
carat?
It was big.
So
Like-
I mean, a 3 carat diamond is, you're talking 6 figures, right?
I don't know.
Because
I
the
don't
bigger
go and
the
look at
stone,
rings.
so yeah, the bigger the stone, the more it costs. Now you can have 3 carats worth of diamonds
Right.
that are tiny, and that doesn't even begin to be a percentage of what one solitaire diamond. The larger you go in the solitaires, the more it costs.
It was pretty. Her ring was definitely pretty.
So,
It probably did cost a pretty penny.
and it probably had no flaws because it was on TV.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I mean, could you imagine showing a flawed ring with uncertified and?
I don't think mine's flawed.
So, anyways, so
So they were engaged.
they got engaged. That was a beautiful little thing that they told each other, and
Yep.
you know,
So when they sat down with Tayshia and Caitlin at the end,
your favorite part.
she had just gotten done with the whole situation with Greg, and the first thing that he says is, "Are you okay?" And I just thought that was the cutest thing ever. Like he's making sure that she's okay and whatnot.
I still would have beat Greg's tail
Yeah,
or something. Said
yeah.
something like, "Dude, I still don't understand how they don't grasp the gravity of this situation."
Maybe they'll see our podcast.
Maybe, and
Maybe
then they'll
they
call him
will.
out, and dude will never act, and he'll be, I
Yeah.
don't know, essentially Me Too'd, right?
Yeah,
But without the
Yeah.
sexual stuff.
yeah. So yes,
Or
my
not
favorite
stuff,
part.
sexual abuse,
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
right? Not to make light of it,
Yeah.
but
No, I get what you're saying.
he was abusive
Yes.
emotionally.
Emotionally, yes. No, so yes, my favorite part, which is why we had to pause because he had to watch it, was
He totally did the John Cusack thing.
He did. So earlier in the season, when Katie was having a hard time, he went to her room with a boombox and held it over her head and played a song.
You ever see the movie Say Anything?
And no, I have not.
What? How do you like that part and you don't even know where it originates from?
I just think it's cute and romantic.
Yeah, so then you have to watch the movie Say Anything. Write it down, watch it.
Okay.
Okay, do you know who John Cusack is?
No.
Okay, we have an issue. We're done here, people.
Anyways,
Okay,
so he had
AJ, Say Anything.
He had Blake had people in the audience hold up a boombox over their head and they danced. And I just thought that was the cutest thing ever. And just really romantic. I just thought it was so cute. It made my heart melt.
I've got to show you where it comes from now because you have to get it. Say Anything boombox scene. It comes up. It's like number 1.
You could have just we could talk about this.
No, you got to see
afterwards.
this. There you go.
Short intermission.
There you go.
again.
No, just watch that.
Oh my goodness. How long is it?
It's a minute long. You'll be fine.
It's 2 minutes long.
Just watch it.
You have a really bad concept of time.
No, it's a minute 51 seconds, which is it has a 1 in front of it.
I know, but when
Just over a minute.
when you
Oh yeah, see
okay,
that?
I feel like I've seen this before. I've never seen this movie, but I've seen this.
The scene? Because everybody's done it
No, I
a million
haven't seen
times
this.
over.
Yeah.
You got to watch the movie in
this
order to
chick pregnant?
understand.
She looks pregnant.
No, she's not pregnant. Why did you just say she looks pregnant?
Yeah, when she's laying down, got a little bump.
Wow.
See, look, bump.
No, she does not.
She does.
No, she doesn't.
She's totally ignoring him though.
Because she's mad.
Obviously.
You don't miss much, do you? All right, you watching?
I'm watching.
She's gonna fall in love.
Okay. Because why wouldn't she? He's got a nice car though. I like the color.
A nice car.
I like the color.
Is it a Pinto?
What?
What kind of car is it?
I can't see it now, but it says done.
All right, yep, that's it. That was the scene.
That was like nothing. It was just him holding a boombox over his
Yes,
head
exactly.
while she was
That's
laying
your favorite stuff.
While
That's-
she was
that's-
laying in bed.
That's what everything originated from. That
Okay,
movie.
I get that. I get that.
Okay, and for you not to understand that movie, you have to watch the movie. I just disappointed. Do your research.
I just liked the scene. That's it. I just liked it. I thought it was romantic.
It was good. It was cute. It was cute. I mean, I've seen it in the 80s, but whatever. Speaking of the 80s, coming back to those peg pants. Everything's coming back now.
So this is why I thought it was romantic, is because he had done it previously, and then at their very last, their
cool.
ending, he brought it back.
Slick. He's a G. I'm not kidding. Like he's
he is.
He's
sure
cool.
Is.
He is cool. Capital G. You know? So I thought that was a slick move, and I am looking at ways to be a slick in my marriage.
You should take note. Both of you should.
What? AJ's a G too. He knows stuff.
Don't make his head bigger than what it already is. Just kidding. No. Okay. So we have Bachelor in Paradise coming up.
Yep. Are you gonna watch?
I'll give it a shot.
We'll watch the first episode and see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll watch it too then.
All right.
Only because you are.
If I wasn't gonna watch it, you'd still watch it.
I plead fifth.
Are we doing podcasts on it?
I don't know. We can. Let's see. If you guys want us to do a podcast on that show, we will too, and talk about all the juicy ooey gooey stuff.
If not, I'm sure we'll be back for Michelle's season.
Yep.
But we'll see. We'll see. It looks a little bit raunchy for me.
Michelle's season?
No, Bachelor in Paradise.
Bachelor in Paradise. Yeah, I don't want to burn those wholesome eyes of yours. Courtney, it's been a pleasure.
Yes, it's been fun. I'm glad we did this.
I'm glad you did this too. Thanks, AJ, for the production, for the concept, the idea. Again, The Rose brought to you by AJ Productions. If you got no budget, have no direction, AJ Productions.
Although you could hire him for a fee.
As the manager of AJ Productions. Right?
Manager?
Pay her.
More like boss.
AJ will work. Manager is boss.
No, the boss is the boss.
Oh, my goodness. All right. We'll be back. Later dates.
See y'all sometime soon.
Arrivederci.